I'm just wondering, can you guys hear that? It's silence of no
Oh,
one
I
being
was like, "Hear what?" No.
the silence. The silence. Man, I love spring break or winter break or whatever. And it was really nice to like get with family and stuff. But I think on like day 4, I was just like to my son, I was like, I need you to like pretend like you're in school for like 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. Because every 5 seconds, I was like, you can't eat this much at school. Like, how are you eating this much during home time? Like, how's your stomach providing all of this? So, yes, it is silent today. So I have lots to do and I'm really excited about that. But the reason I was talking about like the song that I was playing before I got on here, and I think the importance of just getting your energy levels at a really good spot every single day, starting off with a song, or, maybe you're faith driven and it's something, reading out of the Bible or listening to some worship music or worshiping yourself or doing affirmations or meditating. Like, you really got to get in a good mental state. Sometimes we are and I know better than anybody, just like I was saying, like life can get in the way. Sometimes you have a 6-year-old at home that is constantly needing things from you, and sometimes you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. You need to like vibe check sometimes, and that's why I really love playing music with you guys in the morning, to vibe check everybody, to get everybody like on a right um path. And I don't know about you guys, I have a very weird mind, so I can sit while I'm working and listen to music. Maybe you're not that kind of person. It took me a while to be that kind of person, to not be overwhelmed. But maybe you just play some music before you get started on some of the things you're working on, before you start reaching out, right? Play like a song that makes you feel very confident, that makes you feel very energized. Like, because sometimes some of us are starting our day with the news, and then we're coming in and we're like, oh, we're going to do reach outs, and you're upset and sad because you saw what happened on Monday Night Football. Or that's literally what happened to me yesterday. Haas was watching the news because of the Monday Night Football thing, and I was like, okay, now that they've talked about it, please turn it off. I can't start my day that way. Like, it just gets my mind in not a good place, especially when I know that I love selling on social media. And that's why I was really excited to share about passive and active users today. And I think very important part of that, not even knowing the all the things that you need to know about social media, having the knowledge, any of that, put all that aside. Knowing the trends, all of that, put all that aside. Your energy is your currency in social media and in person. It's your currency. It's your way of someone being like, oh my gosh, I want more of that. Because I don't like being around the people who are energy suckers, right? Like the people you're around and they're just like never happy. They're constantly complaining. And one of the things that like I ask a lot of my friends and my teammates and all that stuff, you can come to me with complaints, but I need to know, like, at the end, do you want me to comfort you or do you want a solution? Because I'm not riding the train with you like, yeah, that's so dumb. I'm just like, okay, are you done? Do you feel better now? So I wanted to start with that today because I think becoming a passive, or going from passive to an active user, has a lot to do with your energy, has a lot to do with how you show up, and when I say confidence, I think sometimes people get this very confused in their mind. I'm not saying you have to be overly confident and feel like you're, just top tier. I want you to feel that way. But if you don't, live in like your own confidence. However, whatever makes you feel confident to you. We're all different people, right? We all have different things that we like, different hobbies that we enjoy. And so some of the things I'm going to say to you today too, I don't want you to like, I've got a part that I was like, yeah, did I just say that? Yeah, I did. I think I need to say that though. And I just want you to think, because sometimes in network marketing and social selling and becoming an entrepreneur, we're in this like kind of bubble where we feel like, okay, well, we're watching this person and we're watching that person. Well, what do I do? Like, am I supposed to do what they're doing and what they're doing? You just take a little bit and do whatever works best for you in showing up and being confident in yourself. Because imposter syndrome, the feeling of not feeling good enough or worthy enough or smart enough or successful enough, it is out there and it is coming in full force at your door. Full force. You have to fight against it and just realize that you are you. There are going to be different people who like you. There are going to be different people who join you and partner with you. You're going to be in all these different phases of your life. This is not even really what I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to share this with you because I think it's important. And one of the things that I've realized in the last I've been working online for 7 years now. One of the things that I realized in the last 7 years about working online is you're going to go through these phases where you're finding this newer version of yourself. You're finding this different person, right? And it could be where it's a good person or a bad person, because I'm telling you from vulnerability, I've gone through this phase where now in the 7 years of being an entrepreneur, I look back to when I started and I'm like, yeah, never again. It's like that one song, no, never again. There are certain people I know I don't want to recruit anymore. There are certain things I know I don't want to do anymore. And those mistakes, not that they were bad, they were learning curves. I needed to learn those things so that when I was positioned in this place of my career, we don't do that anymore. We don't, a big one for me is I don't participate in drama anymore. Like if there's drama, I'm like, you need to figure it out and not involve anyone else. Figure it out in your own time, cover your eyes, whatever you got to do. There are certain things that I just realized were not helping my business, right? I don't need to be friends with everybody in my business, not in a bad way, but sometimes that on social media, you're seeing all these people getting together and you're like, ooh, I want that for my team. Sometimes that can be very overwhelming for you. So I just want to remind you in this phase of your career, especially in social media, do not compare yourself, your business, your team, your products to anybody else's. I want you to be like the horses on Mackinac Island and just have your tunnel vision on where you're going and what you want for yourself and for your future. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Okay. I hate this blur background, but I don't want you guys to see my messy office. And it always makes me look like I have no hair. So I had to take my hair down and put it in front. It's just weird. Okay. So I wanted to talk about passive and active users because I did those social media audits and I know some people didn't see them. I think it was like Kathleen was like, oh, I didn't even see that. I pinned it to the top. It will be there forever, but I can't promise that I'll always be going and looking at it because I'm actively doing it right now. So the faster you can do it, the better. And what I saw on a lot of those things is what created my topic today, because there are just certain things that when people have you go, especially because a lot of the people were having me look at profiles that they don't often use, which is way better for me, a lot easier for me, is a lot of the similar things that I saw on there were things that everybody was doing or everybody was partaking in. And by the way, because I just saw Jessica, it's Jessica's birthday. Say happy birthday. She's a hot 25. Okay, so and one of the things too, y'all, I can't tell you, I know there are some people who still, for some reason, can't get a hold of the app. I'm having people comment on my post. They're like, I can't find it. I don't know why you can't find it. Maybe it's your phone, update your app store. I don't know. Go ahead.
Funny, we were able to search it just fine in the Apple store with no problem, but I was checking on it last night because I'd seen some posts on or comments on your post and I couldn't find it either. So part of it is just because it's brand new, but I am going to get in touch with Apple today and find out why is it all of a sudden not searchable. And then did you ever find the link? I don't think that I ever grabbed the link for that one.
The Google link was in there.
Yes, but not the Apple one. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's searchable now in Google, not searchable in the Apple store. So I got to figure out why. But if you're looking for the 21-day challenge, you can just go to the website, hustleslay.com, and you can get into the app that way. But that's for the challenge. I'm gonna stop now.
Someone's delivering you birthday presents. Well, maybe we'll put like a post in the Hustle and Slay that's solidifying what each link is like for, in case there are people on your team that are like, I just want this or I just want that. But a lot of the stuff, like obviously some of the people who are already in the 21-day challenge are seeing some of the stuff that is created in this first month. And I was working on next month's, I just already feel like this year has gone by too fast and it's only January 4th. Next month's challenge. And I can't tell you guys how excited I am. Your mind's going to be absolutely blown. And I'm over delivering in this, but I'm excited for me too, because I go along these journeys with you guys. I'm never sharing things that I'm not doing or things that don't work or things that I think you should do, but I don't want to do. Like, that's why I get excited, because I'm doing it with you. So when we talk passive and active users today, I really want to explain what passive and active means, because I think it's a little, it's different for everything. And so I got this little graph thingy. I'll share it in the Hustle and Slay page. But for example, a passive user is, and again, if this is you, don't be like, I'm jumping off here, I suck. Just, we can work on it and we can change things together. Passive is going to be somebody who just scrolls through posts. doesn't engage with anything, scrolling, not mindlessly scrolling, if you will, watching videos on, that just come up, like anything, like, you see somebody eating a fried fish and you're like, oh, that looks cool, I'm going to go watch that. Monitoring users without engagement. So like going and looking on someone's page, but you don't even engage with them, like a new friend, you don't go like anything, you're just kind of like cruising through their page, right? Active users are going to be the ones who are creating content, valuable, relatable content consistently. So someone who is, every single week you see them showing up with different posts and they're not dying off for a couple weeks and then showing back up. And another thing for active users is they're seeking out specific content. So especially next month, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but what platform we're gonna work on next month, if you're not seeking out specific content, you're gonna be throwing spaghetti at the wall, because a lot of these platforms are showing you more content or showing you content that you like more. So if you're going on there or any platform and you're seeing a bunch of food videos, I promise you it's not because Instagram thinks you're hungry. It's because you've probably searched food, or you've looked at food videos, or you've liked food videos, okay? So sometimes you have to go out to and say, oh, this is what I want to see more of, or engage with this is what I want to see more of, in order to create the algorithm. When people hear that, they think sometimes that, like, of course it's IA, right? It's created by social media. It's a IA form, but a lot of the algorithm is designed by you, is designed by what you're doing when you're on there. That's how sometimes, have you ever been in a conversation with someone about, let's say, like Norwegian cruise? You're like, oh, you're talking to your girlfriend. You're like, yeah, I want to go on this cruise. I'm thinking about a cruise this year. And then you get off and you go on your Facebook and there's cruise ads. Okay. I don't know how that happens, but I'm just saying they will cater to what you're already liking and searching and seeking out. Okay. And then active users do direct engagement. So liking and commenting. And next week, because I wanted to get some more social media audits in there, I'm going to kind of go over the audits like broadly with everyone. I'm not going to pick anybody out unless you want to be, that's fine with me. But a lot of them have like the same, she goes, yes, pick someone, choose someone. A lot of them have the same things that I don't want to say you're not doing, because I don't want to make you feel bad about it. They have the same things that you could be doing more of. They have the same things that people are like, oh, this is where I'm not actively growing, or I'm not getting a lot of engagement. And I made this reel yesterday about, because I think it's so important when people say, I'm not getting a lot of engagement, I need you to think back for a second. Are you asking people for engagement? Are you doing a call to action? Because a lot of times people go, I took my tree down, Happy New Year. And they're like, well, I didn't get any engagement on it. You totally could have flipped that around and said, I took my tree down. When do you take your tree down? And then you'll have a bunch of people going, blah. Zane asked me if we could keep ours up until March. So, but you see how you can create engagement versus just, oh, I'm going to make a post and say, Happy New Year. This is my word for the year. You could do Happy New Year. What's your word for the year? And then put your word of the year in the comments. A thing about social media that I think a lot of people do too is we want to talk about what we're doing. But if we're social sellers and we're active social sellers, which means we're not just the cruisers on social media, we're the people actively trying to sell a better life, a better future for people. We have to be asking the questions, doing things that will cause engagement. So like call to actions. So think about like maybe your last 5 posts that you've made, whether it's TikToks or anything like that. Try to, if you haven't already, somewhere in the hook line, especially because we are such a microwave society, we will only watch something for a millisecond. And if it isn't something we want, we're on to the next thing. If in that short amount of time, you can create a call to action simply by saying like, do you agree with this? Or, tell me if I'm the only one who feels this way. Those are very simple things that will get people going, oh no, I don't agree. Or yeah, I feel the same way. I totally understand. And it doesn't have to be hard. It can be with things like weather. Like today it's 48 in Michigan. I'm like, what in the June is going on here? Like you could ask people, what's the weather like where you're at? Because last week we had a tundra of snow, and now this week we've got warm weather. It's bizarre, right? What's the weather like where you're at? You will get tons of engagement, people telling you, oh my gosh, me too. We were snowed in last week and now it's beautiful. So really ask for And that is going to take you from passive to active, is when you're asking for engagement. That's the best way you're going to get it. And over time too, I feel like this is like, riding a bike. The first time you get on, you might fall off. So you might start with like very aggressive calls to action, which is totally fine. But over time, you're going to feel that it's very easy to speak to people and just ask a question. You're going to be making a very captioned post. And at the end, you're going to be like, and drop a fire if you feel the same way. Because it's just going to be natural for you to ask for engagement. And again, not all the time are you going to have your entire Facebook group or Facebook page saying, oh my gosh, yes, me too. But that's why I encourage you guys to use the Facebook analytics, to not use the stuff on your desk to balance your phone. But if you use the analytics, okay, and this is kind of why I've stuck with a digital creator account, because I like this part of it. If you go to a post and that's why I don't like the blur background. You click see insights, which is on the bottom. And this is only if you have like a digital creator account or the creator accounts. You can see how many people interacted or saw the post, right? You can see how many people interacted, how many people commented, how many people shared it, how many people clicked it. Like, so I think it's very important too, when you're doing and you're starting to become more active and ask for engagement, ask for call to actions, that you're actually looking at, like, you're treating the business like a business. You're actually looking at the insights. You're actually looking at the analytics to see what works. So every time you do that, right, it's like when you cook a meal for your family. You're going and saying, hey, how does it taste? And they're like, oh, it's so good. Okay, that spaghetti recipe, check, it's great. If they're like, oh, that wasn't really that good. Or if you just cook and you don't ask anybody, how do you know if anybody in your family even likes it? And then next time you cook it, they're like, Mom, I didn't even like this last time. But you didn't ask them if they liked that meal, right? You just were like, here, eat it, which is how I grew up. It was take it or leave it. So active users are people who are going to enrich and try to stimulate social media, right? There are people who are trying to make a difference online. They are people who are actively engaging with communities. Again, inside the 21-day challenge, and I love giving like just a little bit, but sometimes I would be given too much. Some of the stuff that we're going to do in there is solely built around communities, because I want you to remember that there is someone struggling, looking for an answer, and you are the answer. You have the answer, but you're worried about what people will think, how to perfectly share your business, how to, what your upline is going to think if you do something a little bit different. This is a part where I was like, should I really say that? But yeah, I think it's important, because sometimes we're all following people who brought us into the business, or someone who is an 8-figure earner in your company, and they say that you should do this and you should do that. I think you need to do what works best for you and your business. If you go live and you love going live, but your sponsor doesn't go live. My sponsor in network marketing is not even on social media. Imagine if I was like, oh, that's what I should be doing. I would have no business, none whatsoever. But I was like, you know what's me? Me is going live. Me is doing TikToks. Me is actively showing up. So sometimes you do have to do something a little bit different, because if you keep diluting who you are, no one is ever going to get to see that version of you. And again, we always go back to the know, like, and trust, which I think sometimes for people, it's a little bit cliche, and I don't disagree with that, but I do believe it's very true. People buy with who they know, like, and trust. Heck, we buy with Kylie Jenner. We buy her lipstick. I don't know her, like her, or trust her. I don't know anything about her. But if we can create that know, like, trust factor with people on our social media, it's going to be a lot easier for you to build a relationship with them when they're looking for a new opportunity. They're going to be like, oh, you know what? I remember Kathleen was posting about doing something from home. Let me see if I can get with her. Or I remember she was posting about something for weight loss, and I'm going into the new year really looking to tone up a little bit. Let me get with her, right? How many times have you guys, and I'm just saying I do the same thing. If I need something, as far as, especially, I love supporting network marketing companies. All over my house, there's things. And we like mud water. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. It's like kind of like a coffee, but it's not. So we buy this mud water brand, but they're not a network marketing company. So I was like, I wonder if someone like sells something similar that I could support. And of course, I see this girl on my page selling something very, very similar. And I was like, hey, I buy this one, but I would love to support you, because I know that's what she does. So how many times have you guys gone to buy something at Target and you're like, oop, wait, I know someone who sells lip liner too. I'm going to go buy it from them. That same stuff will start to happen to you in your business too if you're authentically showing up and showing people your business. I think it's very important to, as we continue to talk about personal branding and all that kind of stuff, and really staying away from like, I sell this cup, right? And this was one of the things on our mastermind last night, which I loved. She talked about language and staying, instead of saying like, I sell this cup, being like, oh my gosh, are you ever super thirsty, but you don't have anything that's like, keeps your drink really cold, or that you can carry with you, that has a handle, that has a metal straw. Like, there are so many different ways when we're talking to people, how we can really break something down and make it relatable to them. But again, if you're never talking about what you have to offer, how is anyone going to even know what's available? So as I even talk about active and passive use on social media, I want you to still remember that you still got to talk to people in Messenger. You still got to talk to people in general, because if you're just doing the post and pray thing, that doesn't work as well as it used to. We used to be like, da 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 da, and they'd be like, sign me up. Those were the days. Okay. Those are the days that we will forever remember. They're RIP now, though. If that does happen to you, though, and I pray it does once in a while, pray it happens for me too, okay, all of us. But it does not happen as often as it used to. Now we get with people and they're like, oh, what's your comp plan about? Or is this a pyramid scheme? All that whole deal, right? The things that we have to surface. So I think too, why I wanted to talk about this a lot is being an active user on social media really creates a more positive experience. A lot of the time when we're passive, when we're not engaging with other people, we're not seeing engagement on our stuff, we get lower confidence, we get discouraged about our business and our product. We don't even want to go online. Like, I remember the beginning of 2020, everybody was like, oh my gosh, too much discrepancies online. I don't want to be on there, right? And I was like, you know what? Well, I'm going to go live cooking keto crap with Haas in the kitchen, because I don't got time for this stuff either. And I just want to be a positive inside of a negative experience right now. But being active for me created a more positive experience for me on social media versus just going on there and seeing people getting sick and, all that kind of stuff. We remember, we don't need to bring it up. So there's a couple things that you can do too to continue to be active. Number one, set your intentions. What do you want to do on social media? Like, who do you want to help? How do you want to help them? And that could do a lot with your business, right? Like if you're in health and wellness, I want to help more moms have energy and patience so that when their kids are on winter break and they have to do 72 spelling tests, they're not going to be so annoyed. Okay, set your intentions. Number two, consider social media a part of your healthy mental diet. And I take that very seriously, because if you're on there and you're just like, oh my gosh, this person just hit this rank in my company. I've been in the company for 7 years and I haven't hit that rank. I hate my life. You're not creating a healthy mental diet for yourself. And that's sometimes too, when you've got to audit yourself, start going through and unfollowing people who are really making you not feel good about yourself. It's nothing personal. You don't need to be friends with everyone. Again, why I recommend a public account. People can follow you. It's all the same. But it's very important that you are like the horses at Mackinac Island. You have your eyes down, you're focused in your funnel. You don't need everybody in your company on your page. You need people that you can help. You need people who are looking for your solution that you can engage with, that you can build relationships with. If your whole page is people on your team, who are you talking to about your business? Who are you talking to about what you have? You're definitely not having someone come and say, sign me up, because they're already signed up, right? Number three is create and express. So that's important too. When you're on there, a lot of the passive users are not creating or creating consistently. A big thing I saw on the audits too were people that were giving me platforms that they're not that active on, which I understand. You want to get more active, I get it. But a lot of people hadn't posted in like a year on the platforms they were showing me. And I cross because I am a little bit of, I like to push you. So some of the people, if they gave me their Instagram, I'd go look on their Facebook and they post on their Facebook. And I'm like, so why didn't you attach the two and just make your life easier? You'd be actively posting on both. Even if you weren't actively on it, you were at least getting posts on it. You're at least getting eyes on you. Number four is you're going to find your people, right? As you create and you express, you're going to find your people. And a lot of the time, especially on these audits that I see, is people are engaging with your guys' posts and saying, hey, I love this, or, hearts and all this stuff. And no one's going back and not no one, but think about the passive users not going back and commenting and saying, oh my gosh, thanks so much, Kim. You have a happy new year too. I know sometimes the birthday posts and the new year posts and the Christmas posts, they get overwhelming. You got so many comments and you're like, do I go tell everybody thank you? I would. I'd go through and I'd comment to everybody, especially because you're going to find someone that you go, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that she was on my page and she's actually watching my stuff. Let me go engage with her. And then number 5 is making a difference. I think that's the biggest thing that we all have here is in our business, in our product, we're going to make a difference in somebody's life, if not our own. And if we're creating and we're expressing and we're finding our proper people, we're going to make a difference. We're going to make social media. I love making social media just a positive place for people, a fun place for people. Again, like I was saying, I know in 2020, people were very scared, very sad. And I was like, I'm going to get on here and joke around with Haas in the kitchen because I just want to make people laugh because I didn't want to be stuck in that realm either. Okay. So try to make a difference. And I want you to think too, as you decide, what kind of active user you want to become. I'm not saying you got to be me, okay? Because I know sometimes people will, someone messaged me yesterday and they're like, I just saw your reel on like 5 different places. And I was like, yeah, click of a button, baby. I was like, enter our 21-day challenge and I'll show you how to do it. But click of a button, you can put a piece of content in 8 different places. But that's just because I'm very dedicated to my growth this year. So is this a hobby or are you wanting to make a significant difference for people? Because that's going to tell you too how many places you want to show up, how active you want to be, how uncomfortable you want to get. Because I know sometimes people are going to look at our 21-day challenge and be like, oh yeah, I'm not really interested in that platform. Well, if they all disappear tomorrow and that's the only platform left, you're going to be like, oh crap, I should have done that challenge. I should have at least looked at it and said, oh, I can do this. I can at least get started on this, right? We all felt that way when Facebook came out. We all felt that way when the internet came out, right? Like we were joking about Yahoo. Remember Yahoo chat rooms? Man, if Yahoo chat rooms were still a thing, I'd be recruiting everybody. I'd be in every chat room like, hey, what's going on here? All those people from all over the world. That was all new to us. We just had to learn to adapt. And this is one of the things I wanted to remind you before we hop off or before I leave you with this, is because I know so many people when they think about social media and they think about actively showing up, they're so concerned with how many followers they have, how many likes they're getting, how many people are commenting on that. And I will say this until I'm blue in the face. I want this on my gravestone. It does not matter how many followers you have, because you can have 10 people following you and 10 people engaging, and that's way better than 100 people following you and no one engaging. 10,000 people following you. Like I had someone who did the audit with me. She has 10,000 followers and she had the same amount of likes on all of her posts compared to someone I audited that had 100 and something, like 139. They have the same amount of engagement. So don't worry about like, oh my gosh, I don't have this many people or that many people. That's really only attractive to like higher level people, like high level network marketers being like, oh yeah, I'm going to join her. She has a big following. But the average person like Sydnee 7 years ago would never have imagined Sydnee doing now. Like I'd probably be scared of Sydnee now on social media. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I'm just a little Dollar Tree girl. I don't even know how to do that. So don't worry about that. That doesn't equal success. It equals nada. It equals just like a well-dressed person, but underneath they might be super depressed, right? So don't think that equals success for them or anything in their business. And I'm going to give you one engagement hack before I hop off. And one of the things, sorry for the person that just hopped off, they don't get this. One of the things that I've been doing that I started in the new year, and I would love for you guys to start this and let me know what you think too, is before I make any post on social media, before I do any workout, I've been saying this like 1,000 times a day. I'm about to probably get it tattooed on my arm. Everything works out for me. Right before you go live, everything works out for me. Right before you make a reel, everything works out for me. Right before you go to follow up with someone, everything works out for me. At least just go into it with a positive mindset, because then when it does work out for you, you're just going to feel more amped by that. Oh my gosh, that worked out for me. Maybe it's because I said everything works out for me. I put it on my mirror because I always have my affirmations on my mirror too. Everything works out for me. It's just a good way to think about it. You want to get more virality on TikTok, on Instagram, everything works out for me. And just keep going. I'm going to post these in the page too, because I only have a minute, and I'll give you like a little description, but it's like a 40-minute engagement plan. And I think it's important, especially if you want to become more active. You don't have to be doing this every day. Oh, there goes bald Sydnee. Sorry. You don't have to be doing this every day, but you can do this as much as you can. So 5 minutes a day, replying to any DMs. I know sometimes DMs can get overwhelming, especially for me, or you forget, or the holidays happen. Spend a couple minutes replying to people. Hey, I'm so sorry that I didn't get back to you. Here I am. 5 minutes viewing and engaging with stories. Instagram, Facebook, 5 minutes. And I'm not talking about the stories like, you know, sometimes I get on and Jess is my first person in my stories. I'll go look at her stories, but that's not a part of my 5 minutes because that's Jess. I don't need to recruit her, right? Or I see Kristen Scott. I don't need to recruit her. I need to go to people that I'm trying to prospect, right? And engage with their stories. 5 minutes engaging with accounts that are like specific, like my lead list, people that I'm really looking to engage with my stuff or engage with me. 5 minutes with accounts that engage with me already. So again, I know Kathleen's writing these, so I'll write them in the thing too. But 5 minutes of accounts that engage with me. And simple way you can do that is like, go look at a Christmas post that you already had. And you can be like, okay, those are the people that I need to go engage with. 5 minutes engaging inside of groups. And then 5 minutes replying to comments that maybe you forgot about. Because I know that's hard too. Again, like Christmas post, New Year's post, maybe you forgot, maybe you made an engaging post last week. Who cares? Just go engage with it again. Go reply to the comments on there again. There's no problem with that. You're like, you know, unburying the dead. It's okay. So hopefully these things will help you in the next, you know, year, basically become more active user, less of a passive. Because just what passive does is it really, I think what's more concerning more than your engagement is the effect it has on your belief in yourself, your confidence in yourself. Start showing up more so that you feel more confidently when you're doing that. So I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out today. I appreciate it. I'll post that stuff, the notes and stuff in the page so you can have them, pass them out to your teams. And we'll get those links posted about the 21-day challenge. And hopefully the app will be up and running in the iPhone store. But it is for Google now. So yay, Androids. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.